two things. One is you said shortly after the Sandy Hook shooting that you don't think any kind of gun legislation would prevent tragedies like that. And the other thing was in the recent Rolling Stone profile. You said that you understand that some people think guns are bad, some people don't like guns, but that there are a lot of law-abiding gun owners in this country and we need to have a conversation. And we would like to make the point that the conversation is not about whether guns are bad or good. It's about guns as a public safety issue and the fact that women in the house with a gun are 6 times more likely to...
Is there a question?
There is a question. I'd like him to clarify his statements, and I'd like to know what his policy would be around gun reform. Okay.
Thank you. I come from a state that has virtually no gun control, and is, turns out, one of the safest states in the country. I come from a state where tens and tens of thousands of people hunt and do target practice. I understand that guns in my state are different than guns in Chicago or Los Angeles. I understand, and the people of my state understand, that there are people all over this country who have guns, who should not have guns, who are killing other people. I understand that. And that is why I cast some very, very difficult votes. I voted to support the ban on assault weapons.
With all due respect, you also cast the vote to allow gun manufacturers not to ever be sued.
Let him explain.
I did. Okay? But here's the point. I'm glad you asked the question. Let me tell you what else I was voting. I also voted for an instant background check, which means that if somebody has a criminal background, somebody is a domestic abuser, that person will not get a gun. Guess that one. And I voted for legislation that closes the loophole that now exists through gun shows. Okay? Those are major pieces of legislation. Now let me throw it back to you. We can argue all that we want between Vermont and Montana and urban America about guns. We are not going to succeed. What we need is a gun policy. It may not be your policy. But if you want to succeed, we have got to overcome the cultural divide. People in urban America have got to appreciate, and I said this, and let me repeat it, that the overwhelming majority of people who hunt know about guns and respect guns and are law-abiding people. That's the truth. And people in rural America have got to understand that in urban areas, guns mean something very, very different. And therefore we can continue this argument for decades. And I know that maybe there are people in this room who say, let's ban all guns in America, or whatever it may be, okay? But if we are going to succeed and get beyond the arguments that have gone on decade after decade, you need some common sense solution. I am open to any ideas that make sense. But I will tell you, I have voted in a very difficult vote to ban assault weapons. I voted to close the gun control loophole, and I voted for instant background checks. And I'm open to other ideas, but we will not succeed on this terribly important issue if we continue the cultural warfare between urban America and rural America. And I think I'm in a good place to try to do that. Let me tell you about the Amtrak. It's a very good example. Yeah, I voted for gun things, gun manufacturers. Yeah, you know what? Yes, you're right. That's how I voted. Why did I vote that way? Because if somebody has a gun and somebody steals that gun and they shoot somebody, do you really think it makes sense to blame the manufacturer of that weapon?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
No, I don't.
Because there's smart gun technology that would prevent...
We like
The point is that I made, if somebody sells you a baseball bat, you hit somebody over the head, you're not going to sue the baseball bat manufacturer. But this becomes an issue. I don't want to argue this so much, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. There has got to be some give on both sides. In my state, you know what people would say to you? They would say, what do you have against me? What have I ever done wrong? Because I've taken my kids into the woods and gone hunting. We haven't done anything wrong. But there's going to have to be some compromises on both sides. So I don't apologize for that vote.